Hi guys, compared to the weather we've been having here in Australia, today's not a bad day really. It's around 10 degrees, so I thought it'd be a perfect day to maybe take this little Enfield out and give her a bit of a short burst, so we'll say a 5-minute review. That'd be good enough to see how it really performs. So for those tuning in for the very first time, this is a 2016 model Royal Enfield Classic 350. In Australia these retail new for about $6,500. They're a 19 horsepower machine. They're a smaller brother of the Classic 500, which retails here at $9,000, and they put out 27 horsepower. And apart from that, there's not a great deal separate them, apart from, like I said earlier, 27 horsepower against 19 and $2,500 in the price range. This would be more a round town runner with a comfortable speed of 80 kilometres an hour. Little bit, I suppose you could ride a little bit faster than that, but it's mainly an 80 kilometre, 90 kilometre hour bike. With the bigger bike, the 500cc bike, it's good for, you know, around the 100, 110 kilometre an hour, maximised space. You can go a little bit faster, but the vibrations are going to kill you. But, you know, as far as this one for round town running, and for the looks, or run down to the shop or cafe, out for a cup of coffee, something like that, it'll probably be very hard to beat. Both bikes, whether you buy the 350 or the 500, both weigh in at roughly 190, 195 kilos. The newer versions, especially in the Classic 500, now run ABS braking, and it's a dual channel system, and the 500 runs a new swing arm. I'm not sure about the new 350, whether it runs a new swing arm or ABS braking, but I know the 500 does for sure. Either way you look at it, these bikes are really a throwback to the late 60s, 70s, and you're sort of buying a period style bike which looks 50 years old when you buy it new, and really looks the part, and they always get a lot of attention whether you're riding around in a new bike or an old bike. The fact is, if you got one of these in amongst those bikes, people always are draw carded to this bike, and they like coming over and look at one of these particular bikes and like talking to you about it. And I've never had any trouble with people coming over and wanting to discuss this, regardless what your friends are with and riding, and you know, they're always a good draw card. So anyway, let's get on this bike, take it for a run and see how it performs. Right, it's camera action. Okay guys, we'll just test this little Enfield today around town, because I can't find the visor to my helmet, don't know where it is, and be waste time taking that on the road because it'd be too much wind noise. So we'll kick her over. So if that camera's working, it's blinking. So it stands up. We're in gear. So the seat height on this one's about 800 mils, so it's about that. So a bit similar to the other bike. So we'll see what this is like if you were just buying this bike, headlights on, just as a round town runner. So overall, gear change is pretty good, rides firm, and you can feel that you're sitting fairly high up on the bike. Might swing up this way and go plug off to the right. So we'll just see what pickup is. Not too exciting, but it's there. The main thing I noticed straight off, that compared to anything, is you do notice you are sitting up high, like you're sitting on a plank. swing around this way. Does lean into the corners good though. Bit of vibe running through those bars. But not a bad vibe, like, you know, nothing threatening, but it's there. But I think overall, you know, if you wanted this bike just to run around town, potter around in, you know, I think it'd be alright. What I can notice straight off, and I better wait for this car. You can definitely notice this is a lot less under powered than the 500. But saying that, it does get up to speed alright. And here we are cruising at the 50 km/h, no trouble there whatsoever. Riding away. So yeah, so around town with this sort of wear, you know, you can go along and it runs down through the gears alright. Let's have a brake go. Yeah, brakes are good. So this is the first ride on this actual bike, and you said to me, could I live with one of these as my only bike? No! No, I couldn't. And you might think I'm a bit hard on it, but now I've had too many bikes, too many choices, and I just couldn't handle one of these. And the simple reason, in this standard form, even though it's all right, it's not. It's a bit gutless, and I think you've got to have a little bit of power, and this one's got nothing. I think you'll find once I throw the sports exhaust on it, it'll perform a lot better. But the gear change is good, the clutch is good. It's not a bad bike to ride, and it suits a lot of people, and just doesn't suit me. And I was aware of that when I bought it, and that's why I was going to do those mods to it. The main thing that attracted me to this bike to start off with is, one, it looks like a 500, and two, the price was alright. So that was the main purpose of the purchase of the bike. But just swing around the bend's good. Look at that. Just hasn't got the power to follow through. Not a bad horn, but I really don't know why they never threw twins on the 500. It idles nicely away for what it is. Look at that bloke give me a bit of a wave as he goes fast, and you know, that's one thing about these bikes. You know, you get your money's worth out of them just in that. Now with accelerate and give it a bit more, making a big racket, taking off, and you're back up the speed all right. I think to get a bit of performance out of this, you've got to build it along a little bit more than what you would normally do to a compared to a 500. So, you know, if you got under the impression you get onto a 350 and ride it like a 500, well, I don't know if it'll go the distance, or, you know, you would be flogging the guts out of it. But like I said, when I with that sports exhaust on it, and it picks up a couple of extra fernies, it'll transform it into a little bit more get up and go beast. I would like to take it out on the road and run it up to 80 k's for you and run it, but the audio quality would be pathetic, and you wouldn't be able to hear me properly, and then you'd be complaining that you couldn't hear anything. So it'd be just a waste of time. So we might as well just play around here on the bikes, and I'm pretty sure I've lost me face shield of the bike to the helmet, and I'm going to have to do reviews like this on the bikes. And apart from that, you know, you do get a bit of an idea how the bike's going, and you know, the bike's warming up a little bit now, and but you know, I think anyone that wanted the 350 and heading off to the heading off down to the shops or the cafe, or just around to their mate's place or something like that, and especially if you buy a second-hand one like I did for $3.5 grand, you know, I think from a nostalgia point of view, you know, you get your money's worth that way. And this bike now, now I've done that one lap and it's warmed up a little bit, it's performing just that little bit better now. Give it a little bit of a hit. Ooh, look at the power. Yeah, well, there's not much power, let's not kid ourselves. But it did take off a little bit better up there compared to the first time around. We'll go back down here. Woo! So overall, as a rule, I don't ride motorbikes around town much at all, but seeing me clear visor's gone, I've got no choice. But I think we'll swing around here to the left, head back up to my residence, and yeah, so I think if you want one of these just to do a bit of commuting around town, go out and see your mates, go to the coffee, go and see your mates, do whatever you want. I think you would be pretty happy that way. If you're buying it for performance wise or something like that, you could end up being a little bit on the disappointed side that way. So like I said, you can't win them all that way, but if you're in my case and pick something like this up for $3.5 grand, well, you might think you got yourself a good buy, and it gives you a chance to put a couple options on it and get things moving a little bit quicker for not much money. Actually, I can get it going a bit quicker for no money at all, because I've got all this stuff from before. We'll give it a bit of hit. Now let's move it. See, the 500 would be a lot faster along here. But then again, you know, if you buy a 500 and pay $9 grand for a new one, or a good 500, it'll cost you $5,000 to $6,500 second hand. You know, you want something that's all right for that price. A lot of people buy these 350s for the fuel economy in here. They don't care about performance wise, they just want to get that, I think, 40 kilometres to the litre. From my point of view, I don't care really how far it goes to the litre, providing I don't run out. One thing I can tell you is that when I do put the sports exhaust on it, you will find that it makes a really nice you know, like built from the exhaust front, whatever you'd like to call it. It's got a good gearbox, but I haven't hit a false neutral, and I've changed gears quite a few times, and that's a bit of a rarity for an Enfield. So gearbox is good, clutch is good, brakes are good. We'll hit the brakes now. Look at that, see, brakes aren't bad. So yeah, overall, I've got no really complaints about this bike. You know, you get what you pay for, and neutral time's good. So overall, not a bad little test ride, and horn, fine. Okay guys, that's it for this, and signing out on this test run. See you later.